Okay, hey guys, happy Friday. I'm trying something a little bit different. I am using landscape mode. I know on Facebook Live this is a lot better. I don't know about for Instagram. I tried it before, but I'm going to try it today. Let me know if this is good or if it's not good, if it works better on portrait mode, especially if you've been doing lives on Instagram. All right, well, I'm Leanne, and if you haven't been following me, I am part of a premium wine tasting club, and I train women how to build a business online by sharing wine. Just as simple as that. So before we dive into today's topic, I do want to share that I get a lot of messages about saying that they don't know everything about wine and they're not a wine connoisseur, and honestly, I don't either. I'm just a mom that enjoys wine, and I just know what kinds I like and what kinds I don't. And that's just kind of the whole point of this wine tasting club. So I merely just provide tools and training and mentorship to help you build your business. And I've learned a little bit about wine because of this wine tasting club, but you don't have to know everything, okay? We do have like a sommelier that's part of our company that does teach us about wine, but you don't have to know everything about wine. Okay, so on to today's topic. I do want to share some of my tips to increase your wine tasting experience. I've gone wine tasting quite a few times out of the years, and it's one of my favorite things to do. I have had a chance to do it in a while, but hopefully I'll get some free time. I do want to take Jay somewhere and try to get to go. So I just want to share my 6 tips for when you go wine tasting. And maybe some of you guys know these already and some of you don't. For those that are like wine connoisseurs or avid wine tasting goers, I guess if that's a word, go ahead and drop your tips in the comments because I'd love to hear them. So the first one is you don't want to wear too much perfume or cologne. That can be really distracting. I know that sounds like something so simple, but it can be really distracting. The whole point of wine tasting is not just necessarily your taste, but your smell too. You'll see a lot of times people will swirl the wine, and that's just basically to open up the aromas. And usually if you have somebody that is, knowledgeable at the winery doing the wine tasting for you, they'll tell you about all those aromas. And I remember when I first was going, I didn't really pay attention to that stuff, but definitely don't wear too much cologne or perfume. It can be really distracting, not just for yourself and your group, but for the other people around you, okay? Second is to be open-minded. I know when I first started drinking wine, I really only used to drink reds. That's all that I really liked. Even for the past couple of years, I've only really liked red wines. And it wasn't until I was more open-minded. I started trying different types of wines, especially with this wine club. I was more open to tasting white wine, and now I've found a lot more white wines that I actually enjoy. So, being open-minded, you're just tasting it. You're not drinking a whole bottle. Okay, and then my third tip is don't be a wine snob. So these are for people that do know a lot about wine and have your favorite wines, okay? So be open-minded when you go there. Don't try to interrogate the person or the sommelier that's there that is trying to teach you about the wines. I know one time I had gone to a wine tasting, and the group beside us just kept asking the guy, well, how does your wine better than X, Y, and Z's wine? And you can only imagine how uncomfortable that made the guy feel, the sommelier feel, and the other people around them. It's not like a competition. Just learn what this winery has to offer. Everything's different, and if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to tell them that they suck. And then my 4th tip would be the buckets. So I remember the first time I had gone, I was like, what are these little buckets for? And why are people spitting in them? And why are people like wasting the wine? I honestly thought it was really rude for people to dump the wine, because I'm like, man, that, like, 1, you bought it, and 2, it's really good wine. Why would you dump that? It's okay. There's multiple reasons why, but the 2 main reasons is if you don't like the wine, you don't have to drink the whole thing. That's why it's a wine tasting. It's okay to dump it in the bucket and you're not offending anybody. And it's okay to spit it out. I don't typically spit it out. I've never had a wine that tastes that horrible that I have to spit it out. But if you ever experience it, it's okay. The buckets are there for that. The second reason is if you are going to multiple wineries, like say if you're going to 5 or 6, maybe you take a trip to Napa where you're just gonna bang out a whole day of wine tasting. You don't want to get drunk after the first winery, and that is very, very possible. So the buckets are really good to use. You can taste your wine and you can dump it out, so you kind of control how much you're consuming. Okay, my 5th tip is to give tips. I know they have little tip jars for the people that work there and the sommeliers. I've had really good experiences. I've had people come up to the people that work at the wineries, very knowledgeable, and spend a lot of time with me and my friends, and talk about the wines, the winery, and then also just talk to us, ask us where we're from and get to know us. It makes the experience that much better. So if you do get somebody that is like that, definitely give a tip. The last time I went to a winery in Michigan, I had a girl that she was a college student and she was there during her break, her summer break. And she was like, yeah, this is just a job that I do to make some extra cash while I'm not in school. And she spent like almost a whole hour with me teaching about the wine. And then we were just talking like as if we were friends having wine together. So give tips. And then my 6th and last tip would be to drink lots of water. This kind of ties in with the not getting drunk right away if you're going to multiple wineries, and also just staying hydrated. The worst thing would be to get dehydrated and then have to cancel your plans and not go to all the wineries that you want to go to. All right, well, that's all my tips. I hope that these were helpful and of value to you. If you really like this, go ahead and share and comment or tag a friend. If you have tips of your own that you would like to share, go ahead and drop them in the comments because I would love to see them and I'm sure other people would like to see them. All right, I hope you guys have a great weekend.